Hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the Lord, everybody. Hallelujah, praise the Lord, everybody. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. You know, when you think of that thing, go ahead. Just marinate on the word. This is the day. We ain't worried about yesterday, and we can't even think about tomorrow. But this is the day that the Lord has made. A command is given. We should rejoice and be glad in this day, in this time, in this moment, in this season, wherever we are in our lives. This is it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Thank you for making the worship experience. Thank you for those who are in this place. Thank you for those who are there. Welcome to the worship experience where my worship matters. It's not about any big eyes or little U's. All of us are in this thing together this day. And remember, your worship matters. 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 And point to yourself and say, my worship matters. Because positively or negatively, it could affect somebody else. So if you're giving God all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise, you say jump off on somebody else's. Jump off on somebody else's. Jump off on somebody else's. Within you right now, in this moment, this day, this season. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's welcome the Holy Spirit into this place. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you right now in the precious name of your Son, Jesus. We thank you, Lord God. God, we thank you for another day to rise and give you all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise. Lord God, we thank you for your forgiving power, Lord God. God, we thank you for your grace. Lord, we thank you for your mercy. Lord, we thank you for renewing our strength, Lord God. God, we thank you for renewing our minds, Lord God. God, we thank you for touching our hearts, Lord God. Right now, we ask that you send healing where healing is needed, Lord God. Send your comfort where comfort is needed, Lord God. Deliverance where deliverance is needed, and send peace where peace is needed. Continue to cover this body branch of Zion, Lord God. Continue to strengthen our pastors only yes, yes, Lord God. Stir them up, Lord God. And everything that he pours out to your people, Lord God, I ask that you restore to him 100-fold, Lord God. Continue to bless our First Lady as she supports him, Lord God. Bless Marlboro Metals in her entirety, Lord God. We trust you. We bless you. We praise you. We give you all honor and all glory, Lord God. So right now I ask that you stir up this place, Lord God. Let your Holy Spirit reign and rule in this place. This in your Son Jesus' name. We give you all the honor and all the glory. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. Stay with me, y'all. Hallelujah. Right here, I will remember. I will see the goodness of the Lord. I will see the goodness of the Lord. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Anybody remain confident in that? Hallelujah. Here's my life and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? No need to be feared. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the praise of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let the glory of the Lord rise. Let the glory of the close to you. Never let me go. I lay it all down again to hear you say that I'm yours. You are my desire. No one else will do. Nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace. Help me find a way. Bring me back to you. Cause you're all. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. Lay it all down again. To hear you say that I'm your friend. You are my desire. Come on, that's what you're saying. Nothing else will do. Lay it all down again.
Thanks, Brent. So down.
To hear you say that I'm your friend. Help me find a way. Bring me back to you. Come on, release your praise. Release your worship. Yes, you are.
All I need to know. Bless the Lord. Say good morning to all of you. Come today to lift up the name of Jesus. We welcome those of you who are by way of live stream. So we're glad that you're there. Pray that the Lord bless you real well right where you are. Those who come into the building, thank God for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be part of this worship experience. Certainly, the Bible still tells us that if we would praise Him, we'll find ourselves in His presence, where the Bible says there's a fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore. Let me begin by saying thanks to those of you who pressed your way out to the midweek Bible study. Again, as we say always, we're having a grand time as we gather around 52 weeks with Jesus. So we bless God for your support. But we also want to say thanks to the women for their outing on yesterday, for the meal and for the movie. I hope the movie was okay. The movie was great. This Black Panther. So we got to see the movie. So thank God for the women's fellowship. Pray that Lord bless you real well. But I said you govern yourselves according to the announcements. Please don't forget next Sunday at the 10:30 hour, at this hour, we will be celebrating our Heritage Day service here. Pray that the Lord will bless all of you. Welcome and be a part of that. So we're looking forward to great things if Jesus should carry on next Sunday. As we hear from Pastor Boy and Pastor Nelson on next Sunday speaking to us about what the Lord is saying for us for this season in our lives. I said to them at the earlier service, let us not just remember those persons whose shoulders we stand on during Black History Month, but we'll do that every day. Be reminded of all of those things that has gone before us, those persons who paved the way so that we can do what we do today, even to have free worship, because our ancestors had to steal away to worship the Lord. Well, thank God that we could not do it openly. We could not know with high school anybody coming and kicking us out of the building. But I said to govern yourselves according to the announcements. Also want to say happy birthday greetings to Lamar Thompson on the 18th, Jackson Lewis on the 20th, Wendell Stevens was here earlier on the 20th, Kishan Williams on the 22nd, and Reverend James Hawkins Sr. on the 24th. Happy birthday greetings to all of you. May the Lord bless you. Really, I tell you, happy birthday. I wish you could be celebrating and tell me. And it was up there, a little ways. But we say happy birthday to him. Also, I want to say happy anniversary greetings to Alfred and Calvin Graves, in case you guys are listening by way of live stream, and to Kevin and to Patricia Graves. That's son and father and mother and son, whose wedding dates are on the same day. Happy anniversary to you guys. May the Lord bless you real well as you celebrate yet another year of marriage. And I do have one other announcement that I'm told not to make. All right, praise the Lord. I do want to remind us about those things that we're striving to do, both for Brother Donnie and his family, and for this. This is the final Sunday for Brother Donnie and his family, also for the collective, for the CEG scholarship. We've exceeded what we asked for, but by the same token, we're still there. So we're giving over there. Pastor Billy want to take the kids out. Pied Piper is coming with his horn or his flute. Y'all just follow him. Certainly we do give honor to the Spirit of Christ, honor to Pastor Gray as he go away to Children's Church with the young people, then to Reverend Twitty, to Minister Farrell, to Reverend Stevens, to Minister Norman, Reverend Hawkins in his absence, and then First Lady and all of you who come today to lift up the name of Jesus. If you have your Bibles with you, or since you have your Bibles with you, you go with me to the Gospel according to Matthew. Let's pick up a verse past where we were last Sunday. Okay. Matthew chapter 25, verse number 14. Matthew chapter 25, verse number 14. And that's a long parable, and so I'm going to skip through it. I'm going to read verses 14 through 18, and then 24 and 27. You're hearing when you've located it. You have a mind, you just stand with us and tell us who you are. Thank you for coming today. For those of you who are listening by way of live stream, Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 through 18 and 24 through 27. Preferably you by live stream, you are calling your name out as you grab scripture as well. God bless you for being there. Yeah. Matthew chapter 25, verse number 14. If you have it, would you say Kevin's name? Kevin! Y'all good listeners, you know that. Here's the word of the Lord. Verse 14, Matthew 25. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with them, and made them 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. Verse 24. But then when he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful, lazy servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gathered where I had not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury or interest. We'll talk for a few moments from the thought, don't hide your talents. Would you pray with me before you go to your seats? Our Father and our God, we do thank you for the rich opportunity before us to stand again, God, in this sacred place, behind this sacred desk. God, it's a tough task that you've given, but God, we know you can do it because of your anointing. So God, we pray, God, you use us now, that God, we might be able to do the things that's pleasing in your sight. Touch our ears that we might hear from you. Then God, touch our feet that we might be busy ourselves to do what you called us to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You may bring your seats in the presence of the Lord. Don't hide your talents. There was a man who played piano in a bar. He was a good piano player. People came out just to hear him play. But one night, a patron told him he didn't want to hear him just play anymore. He wanted him to sing a song. The man said, I don't sing. But the customer was persistent. He told the bartender, I'm tired of listening to the piano. I want that guy to sing. The bartender shouted across the room, hey, buddy, if you want to get paid, sing a song. The patrons are asking you to sing. And so he did. He sang a song. A piano player who had never sung in public did for the first time. He sang. And nobody had ever heard the Mona Lisa sung the way it was sung that night by Nat King Cole. He had talent he was sitting on. He may have lived the rest of his life as a no-name piano player in a no-name bar. But because he had to sing, he went on to become one of the best-known entertainers in America. You too have skills and ability. You may not feel as if your talent is particularly great, but it may be better than you think. Can I say? And with persistence, most skills can be improved upon. Besides, you may as well have no ability at all if you sit on whatever talent you possess. The better question is not what ability do I have that is useful. It is rather how will I use whatever ability I have. In the text that is before us this morning for consideration, it is from the parable, and a parable is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson. Jesus tells the story of 3 men who were given assignments in this parable. For today's lesson, I want to call your attention to one of the three. All of the stories are significant, but the third, who received one talent and hid his talent, I would like to suggest that the man was capable of so much more. And I arrived at this conclusion, Tasha, because based on what Jesus said to the man, he said, you should have invested my talent so that upon my arrival I would have gained interest on the talent I gave you. And I believe that Jesus is telling us that the man was capable of using the talent that he was given. Otherwise, Sister Terry, he would not have been given any talent at all. The other two men in the text, one was given 5 talents, the other was given 2. The text says in verse number 15, every man received talent according to his ability, according to what he was capable of doing with them. But by letting us know that the man who received 1 talent was capable of using that talent, but instead he hid the talent. Don't hide your talent. Don't hide your talent, as you may recall. Beginning in 2016 and 2017, we spent some 14 months explaining, describing, teaching on ministry gifts, how they function and their benefit to the kingdom. The larger picture is that it is how God meets the needs of society today based upon the gifting that he has given unto you. It is through the talents that he has given to his people. And I believe that the traveler in the text is a type and shadow of Jesus himself. You know, like the portion of this 25th chapter of Matthew last week, we talked about the bridegroom. The bridegroom, Deacon Rucker, represented Christ. And here in our sermonic text today, I believe that the traveler represents Christ. And so it is that he gives to his followers talents. To the one, he gives 5 talents. To another, he gives 2 talents. And 1 talent to the other, he has given all of us at least 1 talent. And I want to ask a question right here. Are you using your talent or are you hiding your talent? Would you tell your neighbor, don't hide your talent? Did y'all really encourage them not to hide it right there? Don't hide your talent. Talents, we all have them. But are we like the late Nat King Cole? And are we afraid to use the talent that God has given to us? And are we afraid because we've not used them publicly before? I can only imagine what Nat must have felt like. You know, he was accustomed to playing. He was comfortable playing. And he probably sang in the shower and probably sang on his way over to the bar. But when he got there, his mouth went silent and he just played the instrument, only to have a patron come in and say, I'm tired of hearing you just play. I believe that the patron heard something, Sister Carol, that the man had never displayed. And so he was sort of forced into doing something with the talent that he was sitting on. I won't call it hiding, but he was sitting on because he had never used it publicly before. And maybe that's our case, you know, because we've never been asked to do the thing publicly, we feel as if we're not capable of getting it done. And we've all been there, and we've all been there and done that. We are all asked to do things that we have never done before. So we don't think that we're capable of doing. But thanks be to God that there are folk in our lives, or folk who just cross our paths occasionally, and they sometimes see in us what we don't see in ourselves. They see the potential that's in us, and resulting in them persuading us to give it a try. I landed in a career in mechanical engineering because Erica's godfather, Bishop George Horton, who at the time had been in that profession for 10 years, he said to me one day, why don't you try engineering? And I took him up on it. Sister Marcia, it was not immediately. It took some additional persuasion. But I tried it and then excelled in the field, going from apprentice through the ranks and eventually becoming chief engineer. I walked through an open door. I took you back. And I said all of that to say to you that through someone else's persuasion, all of us, as we look back over our lives, we would admit that we have made some attempts to do things based on the encouragements of others, and thereby discovering, Sister Hawkins, that we had a talent that we had been sitting on or hiding and we didn't know. Tell your neighbor, don't hide your talent. We are at a pivotal time in history. They took the children out. But we had a pivotal time in history where we find that our world, for the most part, is controlled by technology. And everywhere you look, from the youngest to the oldest, you see somebody with some kind of electronic gadget in their hand, whether they are searching the web, playing a game, or just reading a Bible. My daddy, at 88 years old, bought himself a Samsung notebook. And if you will see him during the course of the day, he had that thing in his hand. And as a matter of fact, when he got hurt and got to the rehab place, the first thing he asked for was, "Boy, bring me my tablet." This serves as a barometer for where we are in society. So with that being said, I wonder how many hidden talents have we hiding in the congregation. Well, we need people who can help us with website and help us with this and that, with electronic and stuff. Your talents are being hidden. Oh yeah, the world knows that you have them, but they are not being utilized in the church. Again, I say, don't hide your talents. Let's engage the text so I can get you out of here. The text says, last Sunday, if you recall, it said the kingdom of heaven was like 5 virgins. Today it says the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling into a far country. And he called his... When you read the Bible, you ought not read it too hastily, because you can miss some stuff. Listen to what verse 14 says. Verse 14 says, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who's traveling into a far country. This is what I want you to see. Who called to himself his own servants and gave his servants his goods. Look at verse 15. He says, and to one he gave 5 talents, to another he gave 2, and to another he gave 1. But here's what we have to pay attention to. He gave them talents, look at verse number 15, according to their several ability. In other words, when he gave them talents, Sister Cooper, he knew what they were capable of. Now that's important. Hang on to that. He knew what they were capable of. Verse number 17, he said, he that had received 2 talents, he went out and doubled his talents. The one who had received 5 talents went out and doubled his talents. And the Bible says the one who had received the 1 talent, he went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. And after an extended stay, the master came back and he set out to check on his servants to see how well they had done, watch this, with with his talent. Tell your neighbor, that's the Lord's talent. Yeah. And so the Bible says he met with them one by one, and the one who had received 5 talents, he had doubled what he was given, and the master labeled him, labeled him a good and faithful servant. Then he met with the one who had received the 2, and he noticed, for lo and behold, he had received 2 more. He had doubled what he was given, and the Lord called him a good and faithful servant. But this one that I want to focus on today, he finally comes to that 3rd servant, and that 3rd servant in verse number 24, the text says that he had received 1 talent, came and said, Lord, now that's why I was open. King James says, I knew that you were a hard man, reaping where you had not sown and gathering where you had not strawed. And look what he says in verse 1, I was afraid. Now, this seems to me as an oxymoron. Because look what he says, I was afraid, and I went and hid thy talent in the earth. Okay, you didn't get it. I was afraid, and I took your talent and hid it in the dirt. Y'all missed it. I buried, what he's really saying is, I buried what you gave me. I buried. See, anything that God gives us, he gives it to us for us to utilize. That's right. He never give us anything for us to bury. He never give us anything for us to hoard. Okay? Anything God gives us, he wants it to pass through us. He wants us to be a blessing to somebody else. But the 3rd servant comes and says, I hid your talent in the dirt. I buried what you gave me. And then he said to the master, you got to see, you got the Bible over? Then he said to the master, as if he had an attitude. If you were reading it from the New, you can split your Bibles, you can get a New King James on that iPad or whatever you have in your hand, your smartphone. But in the King James, he says, and here's how I read it. Look, There you have what is yours. As if to say, I'm giving it back to you. What he missed was that God, when God gave it to him, he didn't give it to him just to get it back.
Right.
How about that?
So then, can I put a pin right here? So then, when God gives us salvation, and you do know it's free, right? It's a gift given to us. When he gives us salvation, he does not give it to us for us to come back and say, I'm saved, I made it to heaven. His question is, who did you bring with you? Or who did you send ahead of you? In other words, what have you been doing with the gift of the talent that I've given to you? He says in verse 26, his Lord answered and said unto him, you wicked. If you're reading in the New King James, he says, you wicked and lazy joker. Lazy. Y'all know any lazy people? That's a rhetorical question. he said, you wicked, and not only that, he called him wicked. After all, he gave him the talent. Now, we don't hear in the opening of the text that he labeled any of them. He didn't label any of them good or faithful. He didn't label anybody. He called 3 of his servants to him, and to the 3 servants that he called to himself, the Bible says he gave 1 5, 1 2, and the latter one he gave 1. And then he shows up on the scene. I don't know how long he waited. It's almost like the text last Sunday. Y'all remember while the virgins were sleeping, the Bible says that the bridegroom showed up and they were aroused out of their sleep, said, wake up, trim your lamp, the bridegroom is coming. Well, in the text that we're looking at is a continuation of what Jesus is dealing with in this 25th chapter of the book of Matthew. I told you last week, it's talking about end time thing, what we call eschatology. It's talking about things that's going to happen at the end. And so you need to understand that everything that God has given to you, say, well, I come to church every Sunday. Occasionally I stop by Bible study. Every now and again I might join the class. But he said he wants to know, what are you doing with the talents that I've given unto you? Are they being utilized in the kingdom of God, or are you sitting on them? The Lord said, you wicked joker. How can he be in church and be wicked?
Wow.
There's some wicked folk in church. I didn't mean to scare you online. Because there's some wicked folk where you reside to. But there's some wicked folk, but you don't shut them out. You keep inviting them in. Because I said to you in Bible study a couple of weeks ago, the hospital is for sick folk, and you have to expect folk who are sick to come to the hospital. The church is a hospital, and so you're going to find folk who have problems who are going to church. You can't look down your nose at them. You got to be in a position. Watch this. Be in a position to serve them. You can only imagine. I can only imagine see people who work in the medical field, nurses and doctors and people in that case, all you school teachers, and you trying to help somebody. I mean, you're trying to help them. You're trying to give them a sponge bath. You're trying to give them medicine. Oh, Sister Lord, so you're trying to help them. And they know you're trying to help them, but they got an attitude and they're angry, they're frustrated, like as if you made them sick. See, in the kingdom of God, what we have to have a kind spirit, so that when we deal with people who are different from us, we can show them, watch this, that we are his disciples. How does that happen? John 13:34. The Bible says, they shall know that you are my disciples by your love, watch this, one to another. One to, not far, one to another. They're going to know that you are my disciples. Jesus said, he says you wicked and lazy joker. You have the ability to do it, and you're sitting on your hands and doing nothing. Then he says in verse 26, he says, and you told me that you knew that I would come back looking for something. It's right in verse 26. He says, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not and gathered where I had not strawed. You just told me that I'm coming back expecting more. You knew that. It's not like you didn't know it. You knew that I was looking for something more, and then you show up telling me you hid my stuff in the dirt. You couldn't hide it in the house in a napkin under the bureau dresser. That's what they used to call it. You couldn't hide my stuff somewhere. You could have put it in a plastic bag and put it in the corner of the freezer. You couldn't hide my stuff somewhere else. You hid my stuff in the dirt. That's how much you think of me, that you put my stuff in the dirt. But let me let y'all go home. Tell you, don't hide your talents. Don't hide your talent. Don't hide your talent. Number one, I'm not telling you to write anything out. Number one, identify your talent. Identify your talent. See, look this right there. He says, you ought to have, verse 27, you ought to have deposited my money. So the first thing we have to do, we have to identify. I had the opportunity this morning at the conclusion of the 8 o'clock service to be speaking with Derek's fiance. And she shared with me that she had, maybe she's listening by radio, she shared with me that she worked as a teacher's assistant for 13 years for free.
Wow.
Yeah, but hear the story. She said, I worked for 13 years for free. And she said to me, but you know what? I would have continued to do it for free because it's what I love to do. And she had this big old grin, big old smile on her face, and she pointed to Derek and said, and this is how it is every day, because every day, she said, the only time I get sad is when I have to miss a day at the school. So the point being is once you identify your talent, I'm taking you back. Once you identify your gifting, once you identify your purpose, I keep on telling us, and she said to me, and I would do what I do for free, but thank God they pay me. There are not many people in here can say that you're going to get up. Well, y'all, you got to go off tomorrow. But there are many who would say that you're going to get up tomorrow and go to work with a grin or a smile on your face. But a lot of people go off to work and they are just absolutely hating it. The whole drive. They become, they have road rage because they go into work and don't want to be there. You think they take it out of the car here, it had nothing to do with that person that's cut them off. It had everything to do with how, you know, I really don't want to go up in here today. But when you find that thing that God has called you to do, I'm here to tell you that you'll do it every day for free. But here is the difference. The difference is that you'll get fulfillment out of it. Tell you, identify your talent. Identify your talent. See, as believers, we are commanded to be investors. Investing in the lives of others because God is depending on us, watch this, to bring others to himself. And so you can't do that until you have identified your own talent. That leads me into the second point. I'm almost done. Y'all get the chill. I'm just kidding. Write this in your notes. Invest your talent. It's right there, 27. Next clause. He says, you ought to have deposited my money. New King James said with the bankers. When I read it from the King James Version, he said you should have deposited my money so I could have got some usury. So you got some interest. You should. In other words, he's saying you got to invest. See, the talent that God has given to us is for us to invest. Well, I hear you. You say, well, but now how do I invest my ministry calling? How do I invest my gifting that God has given me? You invest it by using it. As a matter of fact, if you don't use it, now I won't say you're going to lose it, but let me tell you this. If you don't use it, I can tell you this, it will get rusted. You got anything sitting around the house with metal on it? Just let it sit there a little while longer. And eventually, if it have wheels on it, they won't move. Because what happens from sitting, what happens is, even though it has a bearing in it, because it sits in the same spot, the bearing gets a flat spot. Brother Hill will tell you. So you can't park a car in your yard and say, hey, it's been sitting there for 12 months, I'll start and move it next week. Because when you decide to move it, now that's been sitting, God only knows what has happened to the transmission, what has happened to the wheel bearings. You might be driving down the road before it rolls smoothly, now all of a sudden you got this thump in it. You're trying to figure out what happened. That's because it's sat. See, God wants us to wear out and not rust out. So in other words, God wants us busy. He wants us investing our time. Investing our time. You see, we've been admonished to invest our time, our talent and our treasure. Now, that last one, y'all, people don't actually talk about much. I'll give you a little bit of my time, tad bit of my talent if you pay me for it.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. It's true.
And none of my treasure. Are y'all with me?
That's right.
But we've been admonished by God. Look what he says to this man. He says, you should have deposited my money, not in the dirt.
Come on now.
He said, you should have put my money in the bank. Let me get to the last point. Jump on. Invest your talent. It's right there in the last point. The second one, invest your talent. But finally, you got to increase your talent. It's right there in verse 27. What he says, if you had put my money in the bank, I would have received it back. Y'all get the Bible open?
Yeah.
Look at King James says, I would have received back my own with interest. King James said with usury, but usury means interest. He said, I would have gotten back. What I want you to see is, y'all see the screen?
Uh-huh.
I would have received my own. Don't. Listen, what he's saying is, tell your neighbor it's not yours.
It's not yours.
Turn to the other, it's not yours.
It's not yours.
See, hold up, Pastor. You told me to use my talent. Now you're telling me it ain't mine. You're absolutely right. It ain't yours. Because everything we do, every ability that we have, comes from God. So that means all he has done for us, back in our text before us this morning, what he did with the three men, he called the three men to himself, and he says, listen to me, I'm going to make you steward over my stuff. Steward says, I'm not owner. Steward means it's my responsibility to manage this until the owner comes back looking for it. Now, if you were reading this parable in Luke chapter 19, you read just a tad bit different. Because in Luke chapter 19, we find out why and what the talents must be. Because in Luke chapter 19, here's what he says. The one who had received 5 talents, he came back, he was excited. He said, you had 5. Wow, I only gave you 5. Now you got 10. He says, go and be ruler over 10 cities. Y'all can check that out in Luke chapter 19, verse number 1 through 10. He says, the one that had received 4, 2 he had received 4. He says, now go and be ruler over 4 cities. The point being is that God is checking you out to see whether or not he can trust you. See, y'all didn't know that, did you? He's just checking us out to see whether or not he can trust us with his stuff. And here is how he knows whether he can trust us with his stuff. When he comes back and we have more than he gave us. Watch this. Let me help you financially too. That means that we are not misusing his stuff. That means that we are investing his stuff. I know you say, wait a minute, Pastor, I worked for this. I went to school and got me an education, and I got that job. I landed the job on my own. No. That's not how it works. You are able to do what you do. Well, let me give you scripture. The Bible says in John chapter 15, verse number 5, he says, without him, we can do. Yeah, you got it. And so every ability that we have an ability, or that talent, because I know, Danny, you sat and you beat on them buckets. They tell me that you beat on them buckets because, where's Kamar? Kamar, not in here. You tell Kamar that story. He used to beat on 5-gallon buckets and make symbols out of cans. But he was going somewhere. And so that landed him. Y'all know he played drums professionally, right? On the other side, but but everybody just start somewhere. But the point being is that if you don't exercise it, if you don't exercise it, I know you learned how to ride a bicycle years and years ago, but if you don't ride occasionally now, you get a little rusty, and you might fall. Sister Ivy, the first time you get one, so you gotta do something. You gotta do something to increase your talent. You say, how do I increase my talent? Well, your skill set. When I told you I took that job as an engineer, and they brought me in as an apprentice, And I just learned everything I could learn. Kenneth, I went to school. I had to go to school and got licensed and things like this. But you know what I was doing was I was increasing my talent. Because see, the day came when they were looking for somebody to take from being just a mere engineer to heading all the engineers. And when they came looking, I was there. And I was there, not getting ready. I had my lamp. I had my lamp, and I had all with my lamp, and I had my wick, and my wick had been trimmed. And so when they said, trim your lamps, I said my lights on. Didn't have to say anything because they saw the light. You got to increase your talent. I know that you have an ability today, but listen to me. Everything is changing. The world is changing around us every day, and if you don't keep up, when's the last time you've been in the store and paid attention? There's a cash register. There's money being collected, but the cashier is gone because the world is evolving. And technology is taking over. Listen to me. We had a meeting with the leaders on Thursday night. And listen, not only is that happening in the world, that's going to take over in the church. And so the things that you're seeing these guys doing behind screens that you don't see is innovative stuff. But you're doing stuff because ministry, as we know it, is changing. And we got to be prepared for that audience that's there. We got to be prepared for that audience that's there. That means if that audience tunes in at 10:30, I can't come online at 10:35. Because they tune in, and that's probably the only thing they're going to get spiritually that day is they're prepared and waiting for you. And if you're not there when they come on, they'll go somewhere else. Tell you to increase your talent. Increase your talent. As a matter of fact, say increase God's talent. See, the truth of the matter is it's not really ours. Because if it was ours then, we take it with us. But we get to take nothing with us. But so God says, use it up. Don't let it just erode, wear out, don't rust out. In other words, busy yourself. You pay attention. Sister Ivy still doing okay. Now she doesn't say this, but listen, she probably still out there trying to do real estate. Yeah, but because she had that skill set. So I just got this house and go do something. Sister Floyd's husband, last week, I don't know if I told you guys or not, week before last week, he's 82 years young. 82 years young, and he told me that he rides his bicycle. They said 15 miles, right? I said, was that in a week? He said, no, he do 15 miles a day. He's 82 years old. Wow. He's 82 years old now. He don't look like he's 82, but he is 82. But the point being is, you got to keep increasing your talent. You see, God is looking, you need to know this, God is looking for a return on his investment. Come on now. When you put your money, wherever you invest in it, you are investing it, right? Come on now. We have this reputation. And so this is why people come to our neighborhoods and set up shop. Y'all know that? They come to our neighborhood and set up shop because we have this reputation of spending. You know, we told you that story. $1 lasts 6 hours in our community. 6 hours. What can you do if you can only hold $1 for 6 hours? Not much. Other than buy the Big Mac. No. I'm talking about the fact that it's through our hands before we can get it. We spend it before we make it. Well, we have to stop that. Because let me tell you, you've got to be prepared for the future. The future is just, we're living longer than we ever lived before. And nobody wants to take care of you. I didn't say they wouldn't. That's not what I said.
That's right.
But the truth of the matter is, they don't want to. The nurse took that job to take care of people. But they really don't want to do that. They want to get you to a place where you can get your hind butts up And get on up out of there. Do you not know that today when you have surgery, they don't let you lay around in the bed 2 or 3 days? If you have surgery late afternoon, next morning, your hind parts are up walking. You see? Because what they want to do is they want to get you out. I got to get you out of here because I need this bed for somebody else. You heard what the nurse said? Get that money. Yeah. God's looking for us to have He's looking for a return on His investment. It's right there in the text. He said, you should have invested my money so that when I showed up, I could get some extra. You should have invested the talent so that the talent would increase. So if you use the talent that God has given to you, let me tell you what will happen. Your talent, your gifting will increase. I said some of the preachers on yesterday in class. See, Chris or Burl or Twitty, y'all first name like that. I don't know what titles are you. Or Barry. Or Marcellus. But you see them stand here and exegete the word. Teach the word. And you see them do that. And you say, man, that looks so easy. I can do that. But you're missing something. If God has an anointing on your life, what you do seems easy. But what you fail to understand is that we don't just get up and do this. There's a lot of work that goes into this. Look at that PowerPoint you got last night. You got it at 12:53. That's over early hours in the morning. You got to understand that you got to work at this thing. It don't just happen because you want it to happen. But it will happen if you make it happen. Tell you, make it happen, make it happen, make it happen. Yeah, you see, and so you got to be able to do that. God is looking for a return on His investment. And I want to ask the question right here. Must Jesus bear the cross alone and all the world go free? No. There's a cross for everyone, and there's a cross for me. We all have something to offer the kingdom. I was on my way out of the office earlier this morning, and I thought about this thing. And I thought, Moses, because I'm waiting for the children, so I'm going to extend the message. Moses was hiding his talent in Midian. Moses was in Midian. He was in Midian. He was minding sheep. And then Moses had the audacity to tell his creator what he could not do. Y'all know the story. Moses wants to check out this bush that's burning. It's a lamp. It's a fire. He saw this lamp. He saw this bush burning. So he went to check it out. When he went to check it out, God said, Moses, take your shoes off, boy. Because you're standing on holy ground. He said, now, Mo, I got a job for you. And he says, now, Mo, I want you to go down to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Let him go. Moses says to his creator, Tasha, he says to the man who made his tongue and his mouth and gave him vocal cords. Here's what he said. I can't talk. He says, I got a stammering problem. I stutter. He says, I can't. Pharaoh, what you want. I can't talk. He had the audacity to tell God that he couldn't do something. I wonder how many of us are telling God that we're incapable of doing what He's asked. Wait a minute, if God asks you to do something, you need to understand He already put the doer in you. Now, I know that we do that. I know that we do that because I did that. 1984. August the 4th. Don't remind me of that, label that. August the 4th, 9:20 a.m. God says, I want you to preach. I laughed and said, you got to be joking, don't you? I said, listen, I'll tell you what I'll do for y'all. I know I'm Moses. I said, let's cut a deal. Tell you what I'll do. At the time, I was a deacon. They were preparing to ordain me, Chris. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get ordained. I'll be the best deacon you ever had. And so that's what I said. That's what I said to him. August the 4th, night. 9:20 a.m. 1984. And I tried not to tell anybody that God had said that to me. But everybody who showed up kept saying, why don't you pull the... Why don't you go... Man, you leave me alone. Because I told God, I can't do that. I said, I didn't say the worst grades I got in high school was because I wouldn't stand before the class. That's what's wrong with that. I wouldn't stand before the class. She inherited. So God said, you gotta be kidding. You're messing up. You got the wrong person. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll be the best teacher you ever had. You'll never have another nigga. I know Hill and Rucker good, but you'll never have another nigga than me. But let me see what God will do. God will put pressure on you. You hear me? I say God will put, Terrence, he'll put pressure on you. And let me tell you, God's pressure is unlike the pressure you've ever experienced in the world. Because the pressure that God put on you, there's no relief for it. Until you say, I do. Some people regret saying I do, but I do. And when they said, when you say I do, guess what happened? And so it was July 1986 before I officially told anybody. Now, of course, the family said they knew, and I talked to everybody, but I wasn't going to help push me into it. And so in 1986, I will never forget, we had come back from South Carolina, and the last person who told me this, pastor there, she said, don't you have something to tell your pastor? I said, oh, come on, my friend. You don't make you angry? If the people tell you the truth, and you know they're talking the truth, and you don't want to hear it? Yeah, because they don't ask that people don't want to hear truth. It's true. We don't want to hear truth. Because truth tells me I got to do something now. So I drove back from South Carolina, just 8 hours, Chris, not 6, 8 hours. I went straight to the house, dropped Avis and the girls off. Pastor Hughes was on vacation. I drove over to his house. He loved baseball, so I got to the house, rang the doorbell. Sister Hughes says, he's down there watching baseball. And so his stairwell must have had about 14 or 15 stairs. I don't know whether she summoned him and told him I was on my way down there. I don't know what happened. All I know is that I started walking down his stairs to go where he was watching baseball, and before he sees me, he said, Buckner, I've been waiting for you. For what? That was in my mind. I didn't say that was in my mind. Waiting for what? What do you want me to do? And he says, and before I could open my mouth, he says, I knew it, and you've been running. I just simply told him how long I was running. And from that point on, let me see what happened, Jennifer. The Lord lifted a burden off of me. And listen, not because I had preached the initial sermon, it's just simply because I simply said, Lord, I do. Ooh. I felt something in my spirit right there. Somebody is going through, and you're under pressure. And God is waiting for you to say, I do, and I will. The moment you do that, here's what's going to happen. That pressure that you feel is going to be lifted up off of you. You got to increase. You got Moses telling God, you don't know. I can't talk. But maybe you don't know what you're capable of doing. See, Moses didn't know he was capable of doing that. He did have a stuttering problem. But what we have to be mindful of, Pastor Jones did too, what we have to be mindful of is this: if God called you to do something, He's also saying, I'm going to help make you ready to get it done. And that's the piece of times that we miss. And so sometimes what happens is we are afraid to get out of our comfort zone. I talked about this a couple of Sundays ago when we talked about breaking the box. But what talents do you have that you are hiding and don't even know you are hiding? You think you ought to go back and relook, reevaluate. As a matter of fact, the first point in the message says you got to identify your gifting. You got to identify your gifting, and then once you identify your gifting, if you invest in your gift will increase. And it's not necessarily increasing, but what's happening is you're polishing it. You're polishing it so you're able to do the thing that God has called you to do. Don't hide your talent. God gave you that talent because He knew that you were capable, watch this, capable of identifying it investing in it, increasing it, there just maybe there's a Nat King Cole in you. Can you only imagine a Nat King Cole sitting at a piano in a bar, playing the piano, and that's all he ever did until somebody forced him
Wow.
to sing.
Yes.
Who knows what's in you until you open your mouth and say, God, I will, I do.
Yes.
Don't hide your talent. If y'all won't get the children, I'm going to keep touching the Bible. In Judges chapter 7, Gideon was in a cave trying to hide. Somebody go get him now. Trying to hide his talent. He was in a cave trying to hide his talent. God sent the prophetess Deborah by. In Judges chapter 4, sent the prophetess Deborah by. When Deborah got there, he says, here's what she called him, that mighty man of valor. He said, oh, what you talking about? He was trying to hide his talent. And so God called Gideon to move from where he was and bring him to a position to deliver his people. But that's what happened in the book of Judges. In the book of Judges, the children of Israel got in trouble. They wouldn't go to church. They sinned. And they acted crazy. And every time they sinned and acted crazy, God allowed them to be taken captive by some other nation. And in this instance, they had been taken captive. And Midianites had taken them captive. And God raises up Gideon. And Gideon said, I can't do that. He was trying to hide his talents. You want me to get pull another book? Don't hide your talent. Identify them. Invest in them.
Thank you, Father.
Thereby increasing them. Stand with me, I'm going to quit. Don't hide your talent. The subject matter said, don't hide your talent. And you go back and look at your notes. Draw a line through your and write it. Don't hide God's talent. As a matter of fact, we could have titled the message, Don't Hide God's Talent. Because the master called 3 servants and says, here, you take 5, you take 3, and you take 1. And then after some time had expired, he came back and said, tell me what you did with the talent I gave you. He says, Master, I doubled it. The second one, what did you do? I doubled it. The third one, I hid your stuff in the dirt. Here's what I think about you. I put your stuff in the dirt. Don't hide God's talent. Don't hide God's talent. If you're here and you've already accepted Christ as your Savior, go back to your seats. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Praise the Lord. If you're here and you're without church home and you want your couple of Victory Life Cinema or East Baptist Church, you can do that. The basis of your Christianity, your confession of Jesus Christ as your Lord. All right. Praise the Lord. We're going to prepare for our in-house giving. And we've been unfair to you there on the internet for not at least offering you an opportunity to share in, to help in, to share in the ministry. It's part of what God has called us to do, that we would give the tithe and the offering into the storehouse, that there might be meat in my house, said the Lord. It's for the purpose of helping to do ministry. You're there because there's a camera somewhere in this building, and there are other things that's attached to that in order to bring you feed. So all we would ask you to do is if you would, and the Lord lays on your heart, only if the Lord lays it on your heart, if you would go to the internet, there's a website, www.lifecenter.org, and you'll find a giving, a donation button there. You can push that and you can give to. As a matter of fact, it's up on screen for you. They can listen to it. So that you can give to the ministry so that we can continue to come to you. The technologies that we need in place. God bless you and smile upon you. Officers, if you would come, we are going to continue. This is the last Sunday as we continue to look at helping those persons, the Hawkins who have gone through the fire, and then also our young people. Hey baby, how are you? Our young people who going off to school. One of our own last year got a scholarship from the Collective Empowerment Group, Sister Madison. I'm sure she don't mind me telling you that. So certainly we want to do something back. As a matter of fact, we're asking all of the churches in the collective roster to give toward the scholarship this month. And so thank you for what you've done thus far. As I said earlier, this is the final Sunday for both, for the fire victims and also for the scholarship. But prepare your offering envelopes. If you're giving electronically, you can see Sister Terry here. It's in your hands, Sister Jennifer.
Will the church please stand?
You ready, baby?